Hello everyone, welcome to Picko's Pitwalk, the pre-race version for the 2022 Marrakesh E-Prix. I say pre-race, it's pre-qualifying and pre-FB2. We've had free practice one. It was on earlier. If you didn't see it, go watch it again. It will be on the YouTube channel or wherever Formula E is broadcast in your country. You'll be able to find it. So yeah, it gives me a little bit more content to talk about, which is good because the media pen was cancelled today because of the extreme heat. It is baking out here. In terms of what it's like compared to Jakarta, there's no humidity, or little to no humidity. So it's a lot easier in terms of like I'm not just walking into the media centre dripping in my own sweat if I stand outside for more than 2 minutes. But yeah, right. Should we talk about some Formula E? Yes, we should. So, let's talk about Neo. Neo have started doing their Gen 3. As we all know, all the teams have started doing Gen 3 prep. Oliver Turvey's done some stuff in the Neo for next year. He's enjoying it so far, but that kind of basically nails on that he's going to stay in the squad. So that's interesting. That's what I took away from his press conference thing. Practice one, Neo were looking all right actually. They were third and fourth at one stage. However, they dropped just out of the top 10 by the end of the session because they were pipped by the Dragon cars. Now, this is good because Dragon, they haven't really had the best season, have they? We hope that they'd be there or thereabout, but in terms like they might snag a point here or there, but they've actually had nothing so far. So Sergio Camera was 9th, Antonio Giovinazzi 10th. So good session, especially from Giovinazzi. However, he has been here before, so I do want to maybe put a little bit of pinch of salt on it. But we'll see what the pace is like tomorrow. Because as we've seen with these two teams towards the end, practice they've been there or thereabout, but then as soon as qualifying happens they seem to just kind of drop away, which is unfortunate. So let's hope that they're not going to be the practice kings tomorrow. I am going to swiftly go through this because at the end of the day in the desert it's a lot, the sun's a lot more powerful. So as a ginger in 40-degree heat, I have got my sun cream in my pocket, but that would involve putting all of this down, and I'd rather not do that. Nissan Edams. Seb Buemi was in the press conference today. He was chatting about how the car should suit it. Obviously, it suited Jakarta. It should be similar to Jakarta because there's lots of long flowing corners here, as there was about a month ago. So yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting one. However, Max Gunter was 15th, Sebastian Buemi 17th. Also to note, Seb Buemi at the end of that session had an altercation with Nick de Vries. If you've seen the TV shots of it, it's not the best camera angle, is it? You can't really tell what's happened there. So yeah, unfortunately that's one that we'll have to continue guessing about going forward. Right, Mahindra, the most winningest team in Marrakesh, let's say. We've raced here 4 times. They've won 2 of them. In season 4 with Felix Rosenqvist and season 5 with Jerome D'Ambrosio. So, yeah, and they were looking there or thereabout in P1 today. So, Sims was in the top 10 for most of the session, dropped out of it at the end when others went quicker. I think he finished P14, Oliver Rowland P5. But they're another team where we've seen, like in practice, so like in Jakarta, in Indiria, where Rowland was top in P1, they've fallen down the order as the day has continued, which, I mean, I know nobody really wants that, but yeah, we'll see if they've got the pace tomorrow. Porsche, I've actually not got a lot to say about Porsche, really. I'm going to walk backwards. I'm going to keep on looking behind me just to make sure that, I am knowing where I'm going. An alright day from Porsche. The thing is with Porsche, you can't really tell what sort of day they're having, whether they're going to have a good weekend or a bad weekend, because it's always either they're going to be right up the top, or they will be, should we say middling, like around like the lower end of the top 10. So Andre Lotterer was 4th, Pascal Wehrlein 18th. So take that as you will. The thing is, with this practice session, it started at 5 o'clock local, which is going to be the start time for tomorrow's race. So I think that they'd want to do more about the prep for the race than they would for the qualifying times. But as we've seen this season, Lotterer's been fantastic in the duels, and bringing that one lap pace is something that just comes to him. Pascal Wehrlein, I think he was hindered by that Buemi De Vries accident that happened right at the end of the session, so there were lots of people on 250 laps that had to abort, so not fantastic for them. Let's speak about Rocket Venturi Racing, who I feel I should issue an apology to. In Jakarta, I started talking about Rocket Venturi, and I showed you all the Pride diffuser and everything, and then in front of me I saw Pascal Wehrlein, and my brain just went, oh, there's Pascal Wehrlein, let's talk about Porsche, without saying anything that actually happened in the race for Venturi, and I'm very sorry about that. Lucas Di Grassi started 10th, finished 7th, and Edo finished 3rd. I think that's right. I think I've got that right off the top of my head. It was a month ago, however. I mean, like, we have had a few changes of the order since. Lotterer has got his points back after he was given a 5-second penalty at the end of the race for not giving De Vries a puncture. But you would have seen that if you watched the interview with Andre. He said that he spoke to Nick just beforehand, and the puncture wasn't his fault. So it's good for them that they've got the points back. Sorry, should we chat about Venturi again? They finished 1st and 3rd in. It's the ADHD. I'm sorry. I think of something like, oh, let's talk about that, and then I just forget about everything that's happened like before. Terrible memory, me. Short term, dreadful. 1st and 3rd for Venturi in the practice session this evening. Good result for them. Mortara topped it, and then De Grassi was 3rd. De Grassi, interestingly, never had a podium here in Marrakesh. We've been here 4 times, and he's never had a podium, which I found really, really interesting. But I was going to talk to him about it, but unfortunately, the opportunity did not prevail today. Partly me being awkward, partly no media pen. Andretti, they've had a dreadful day, and I'm sorry to say it, because Jake Dennis, he got out for 1 lap. Wow, he had 1 normal lap, and then on his 2nd lap he had to box because of car issues. It seems to be like a powertrain issue. Oh, I'm at the sun, thank God. There's Andretti. Not an ideal day. Oliver Rescue only ending up 20th as well, especially for Jake Dennis. He's only got 30 minutes to tomorrow at 7:30 in the morning. I thought, put practice 1 on the Friday. I can have a lie-in tomorrow. No, 7:30 tomorrow morning. Thank you, Formula E. Yes, we will be. He will have to do all the setup, make sure that the car's okay, he'll have to do everything in that 1 30-minute session, which is not ideal. Oliver Askew, only 20th. He was second last of those who set a time because obviously Jake didn't. Yeah, lots of work for them tomorrow in that 30-minute session in the morning. So let's move on to Envision now, who had a torrid weekend in Jakarta. Sylvain Filippi was all about, we need to bounce back this weekend, because it's not been a great time for Robin Freins either. He in Berlin he had to start from the back from one of the races as well, so he needs a good weekend here to stand a chance, I think, to keep himself in the championship fight. Nick Cassidy, he's been testing the Jaguar powertrain for next year. Again, wanted to ask him that. No media pen. Good. Third world problems, isn't it? They need a good weekend, and I'm sure that's going to come to them. Let's have a chat about Diaz Cheetah. As you can see, chairman of Diaz Cheetah in the background, Mark Preston, having a chat. Da Costa, he was the winner last time out. He coming here, I think, is fantastic for him because he's always had pace coming here. Like season 5, he was leading until he had that altercation with his teammate at the time, Alex Sims. He won last time out, dominated. So maybe this weekend can swing him into the championship. Jev, Mr. Consistency, still waiting on that win. I thought it was going to come in Jakarta. I thought I'd speak to him as a bee flies by. I thought we'd be able to say that he's won a race in Jakarta, but that was taken away from him just at the last moments by Mitch Evans. So I'm sure they're going to have a good day tomorrow, especially based on previous form coming here. So let's talk about Jaguar. Well, Mitch won last time out in Jakarta. They're on a good roll of form, but James Barkley said in the team's press conference today that they need to try and close that gap in the constructors, because in the drivers Mitch is quite close, but they're not as there in the constructors, which I'm hoping that wasn't a dig at Sam, because I'm sure Sam he'll be back on form at some point. I just hope that it comes sooner rather than later. So yeah, they're on a crest of the wave, so I wouldn't put it past them doing very well this weekend. And then we come to Mercedes EQ, who I actually did speak to Stoffel off camera, because everything's basically off camera today, unfortunately. No presses, because I forgot my long XLR cable. I only have the XLR cable that I use for this, where I have a selfie stick, so it's a lot easier. He's feeling confident coming into this weekend. Obviously, he's the championship leader as well. Finished 7th, I want to say, in P1. Nick De Vries 16th. It'll be an okay weekend. It's always decent for Mercedes EQ. The only time that I can remember them not having a good weekend was in Monaco last year, where they didn't score any points whatsoever. I did speak to him about what the race is going to be like. It's probably going to be a bit like Santiago a few years ago, because there is that heat, but there's not the humidity. And so there is a potential for maybe a couple battery failures or something like that. I don't know. Up and down the pit lane. But yeah, it's going to be it's an interesting one. Nick De Vries, we've already spoken about him. He had the incident with Sebastian Buemi in right at the end of practice 1, and I think that's what affected quite a lot of people's runs, in the end. I think that's why we have so many people who are usually right up the top, down near the bottom of the standings. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one tomorrow. But yes, weird timings tomorrow because they try to keep us out of the sun, but this is the hottest it's been all day because it's usually hotter towards the end of the day in the desert. Race starts at 5 p.m. Local time. Qualifying is at, I want to say, 9:30 tomorrow morning, 9:40, sometime around then. Practice 2 at 7:30. Thank you for your company. I'll be back tomorrow to be able to talk more about this lively lot in the Formula E paddock. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.